Hello there. The signs are that Sweden is on the brink of collapsing into a civil war due to migrant violence, and if that happens, it will spread across Europe. This is not the sort of assessment that the woke lefties will want to hear. No, they are more accustomed to spouting their nonsense and then holding their hands over their ears and shouting la 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 when the truth starts arriving. But a senior lecturer in sociology at Uppsala University, Goran Adamson, who holds a PhD from the LSE, told the Express that Sweden was becoming a capital of violence, partly due to a wave of suspected criminals moving into his country. But of course our civil service in the UK, amongst others of the usual suspects, is forbidding the publication of such data here. And Adamson, reports the Express, said that Sweden was now bordering on civil war. And with an escalation of unrest in that country over the last few years, you can see why he says such a thing. And worse, the rising crime rate has sparked a reaction amongst the Swedish people, who took to a wave of burning the holy book of a certain demographic. I wonder why. And that demographic then took to protests of their own, some not so peaceful. And right now, says the Express, the rate of deaths by shooting in Sweden is twice that of the UK, despite the Swedish population being a sixth in size of that of the UK. Sounds like they have a real problem over there. And in 2022, the firearm murder rate for Stockholm was about 30 times that of London, and London's population is some 8 to 10 times greater than the size of Stockholm's. And we in the UK look on with horror at developments in our own capital. Now, some woke lefties out there will just call this far-right nonsense. But Adamson told the Express that he was not a populist, and that this material is not political in the least, and it's just based on statistics. And data from the Swedish National Council for Crime Prevention seem to bear him out. Now, the right-wing Sweden Democrats are the country's second largest party and is in a confidence and supply arrangement with the government. And one can imagine that their support is steadily growing right now, with The Guardian reporting earlier this month that polling suggests far-right and hardline Conservative parties could finish first in 9 EU states, including Austria, France and the Netherlands, in the polls between the 6th and 9th of June, and second or third in another 9, including Germany, Spain, Portugal and Sweden. But no mention of another EU member state that is experiencing significant problems: Ireland, where there is definitely a surge of nationalism and great concern, if not worse, about the number of newcomers the general population is being forced to accommodate. As a result, we've seen a lot of unhappy Irish citizens protesting at migrant campsites. And the Irish infrastructure is creaking at the seams, to the point no housing can be found for the Irish, let alone the newcomers. With the result that tented migrant camps are springing up everywhere, with the government handing out free tents to charities to give to the homeless migrants, before the government returning in a couple of days to clear the tents away and destroy them. What a pickle, eh? But the Irish government had a plan, and theliberal.ie, founded by Leo Sherlock, has a couple of videos about this on its Twitter page. Despite there being a very severe housing crisis in the Republic, the Irish establishment decided that a set of modular houses plonked in a small village would do the job. As you can see here, they were hauled in by lorry into Coole in County Westmeath at the end of last week. Destined, I gather, for a field. But I do have to wonder how easy it would have been to connect those new homes to the electric, the gas, the water supply and the sewage system. And then there's the furniture and the food, of course. Seems all a bit Heath Robinson to me. And all without local consent, just like here in the UK. But within hours the lorries were on the way out, still hauling their modular homes, much to the delight of the local populace. Wonder what they got up to force their departure.
We do the horn signal. The horn signal.
They won't leave. Community at its best. Community at its best. Woo! Community.
Right, do the horn.
They won't do it.
Well done, crew!
No, he won't do it.
They sounded very happy, didn't they? And there was an interesting conversation between Sherlock and Martin Daubney of GB News, where Sherlock first berated the Irish PM Simon Martin over his Israel-Gaza stance before talking about local politics.
Now, I know, Leo, on The Liberal, you've been covering the rising protests about asylum seeker centres, about the tented cities in Dublin, about the way they're cleared out. We can see footage now that you gathered for us. This is of the tented city. You can talk about this footage there, Leo. This is the tented city in Dublin. I believe it's come back once again.
Yes, you're right, Martin. So basically, I've indeed actually your viewers could follow the Liberal _IE on X, on the Liberal.ie on Facebook and Instagram to actually see what's really happening in this country. Because we have an election coming up on June the 7th that legacy media and national newspapers are completely trying to quell the national movement. There's 14,000 homeless Irish people, 250,000 invisible Irish homeless people, and decent, concerned, genuine people are out at these protests, holding up banners, waving their flags and saying, we want no more of this. Ireland is full. We cannot take any more undocumented, unvetted migrants pouring in. They're coming down through the M1 across the south border. They're coming across in a bus. These people are coming from Afghanistan. They're coming from Somalia. We are effectively aborting our own country.
Anyway, as far as I can see, the European elites, including those in the UK, are dedicated to accepting as many newcomers as quickly as they can, for some or other reason. And the only reason Rishi Sunak is crowing right now about deporting 10,000 this year is that there's a general election coming. After that, it'll be importing people, business as usual, for whoever is in power. And because of the sneaky way it's being done, I hardly think it's for our benefit. The only people benefiting are those that profit from this trade, and that includes UK contractors and the university sector, by the way, not just the people traffickers. So that would be the Tory angle to it. But it also profits the virtue signallers, who get to feel all warm and fluffy at our expense. That's the Lib Dems and Greens for you. But it also profits those with radical political ideas about transforming this and other European nations into either a deep communist society all controlled by the woke lefties, that's the Labour angle, or into a deeply religious society all controlled by a specific demographic that Labour is trying its best to cosy up to. So it sounds like the vast majority of the tax-paying and voting European population has no say, no sway, and no one to look after their interests, doesn't it?